Oh, it's starting. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Hi, we are Team Socrates. This is take 3. If you watched our other videos, you're probably really confused. We didn't have screen sharing set up. Anyhow, we're here today to show off our project that we made of an anonymous question submission app. Good. Anyways, we're going to take you through a couple of the use cases that we've designed and show you the code behind it.
Okay. Drew's going to start us off.
All right, so I'm going to start out with the admin login functionality. Where is
Share
it?
screen. Share the screen.
Yeah, let's not do
take 2 again.
All right.
Oh my God.
Share the screen.
Okay.
We've got
Share
confirmation
the
of screen here.
Screen share confirmed.
Okay,
All right.
so we've got 2 different types of users. We've got anonymous users and admin users. So if I come over here to the login in the top left and then enter my credentials, since I'm an admin,
Gmail.com.
yeah.
Okay.
It's not a spelling error, it's typing.
It's an unfamiliar.
Anyway, so what you just saw is me logging in as an admin. My account is an administrator on the site. All the sessions that I've created over here are listed here. They belong to me. If I create another session, Socrates code review take 3, it'll automatically take me to that session with the admin view. I can remove questions and upvote questions as many times as I want in the admin view, whereas a regular user wouldn't see these controls. Anyway, you can see that it's over here in testing 3. But now I'll go ahead and take you through the code for that. So we'll start over in main.html, where the big orange start button is ng-click and it calls anonymous login. And then the anonymous login function is right here. It uses a factory that I wrote called auth for all the authorization services of Firebase, which is the backend database that we use. Auth dot $auth anonymously. $auth anonymously is a function provided by Firebase to. I'm looking at the wrong thing. I'm not talking about anonymous authorization. I'm talking about this here. I'm sorry. Anyway, it's still relevant. Auth with password. Auth with password is a function provided by Firebase for authorization. Auth with password takes 2 arguments. It's the email and the password, which takes the email and the password from the input fields that I showed earlier. And then sets the scopes auth data to auth data so there can be access to this entire controller. And then takes you to the post login page, which was where all the sessions that belong to that user resided and that I can create a new session with. Basically, it just takes the child called users from the Firebase database reference right here, and then orders them by UID, and then says, give me the user that has a UID equal to the auth data's UID, and then takes that data and sets the root scopes username to email, which is what we use to update the logged in as in the top right that you saw earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to David, and he's going to talk about an anonymous login, which is what I attempted to talk about earlier.
David's just posted on our list.
Just want to make sure. A little quality testing. Never hurt anybody. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and log this guy out. I really appreciate Drew stealing my thunder. It's good. We're back at our homepage here. We can see the top. We're not logged in. We're going to click the start button here. It's going to throw us in here. We now have a list of all the sessions available for the current user. We have a little default naming scheme here. Let's see, we're logged in as purple Play-Doh. We just did a simple color. Paired with a Greek philosopher, we estimate we'll be able to support about 250,000 users using this scheme. And the full list of 64 Crayola colors.
No, it's 256 colors.
Okay.
Times what? 12 Greek philosophers.
Anyways, a lot more than 12.
Well, I mean, that's the number.
We nailed
really
it.
Important.
We nailed it, guys. Okay.
Also, did you know that 74% of statistics are made up on the spot? Shit.
Oh, can I say that?
Anyhow, here is our session that we've created. This is going to give us a listing of questions, PIN number if we'd like to join via PIN, and we're going to take a look at the questions here. I messed it up. It's okay. We can do it with the bottom ones here. We'll take you through the function here. If we have 2 values that are the same, what we're going to do is click the upvote on one value, and that's going to push the question up. So it does filter logically on the time. So that was interesting. And we've now completed our step here, and we do this to 9, 10, and 10 are going to be equal. So the logic is solid as a rock. So let's step through some of that. I'm going to start here at our main HTML. It's pretty simple, but on this ng click event for the button to start, we're going to call this anonymous login function. Head over to our main.js here, and we're going to see that we've set our scope to this auth. That's going to be referencing the factory that Drew built containing all the authorization items. We're then going to make a autonomously method that's going to set our scope of our random colors, random names, and then set that equal to our auth data. The rest variables here are just made up on the spot. These are random color, random name. Just want to set those equal so that the anonymous users have no different view than authorized users. This ref child is going to reference our database and basically just push over the ID for the authorized anonymous user, their email, and then this upvoted questions array. This is how we kind of built the app, was based on this array. Once a user's upvoted a question, the question object is imported into this upvoted questions array so that they can't vote on it twice. There's a lot of logic behind that we'll go through in a minute when we cover how to post questions. And then just our route here back to the sessions page so the user can get in and start working immediately. That's about it for this part. We're going to kick it over to Quincy. Just kick it on over.
Just kick it.
Just kick it.
Kick it right on over. I noticed that we have one viewer on our stream. That's pretty sweet.
That's
Okay.
us.
All right. I know. I was
Okay.
being okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and actually, I guess we don't need to log out. We can just stick with our sessions here. So I'm going to talk about posting a question. And if you're wondering why would you post a question, so the speaker is speaking for the presentation, or the teacher is educating, whatever it might be, student, audience member, whoever that is, wants to ask a question. So they're going to ask, what does the fox say? Oh, we already asked what does the fox say from our last video.
Take two.
Let's do take two. What would a take two question be?
Why did the first session fail?
Why did the first session fail? If it was an anonymous QA app, we'd say it wasn't recording our code review. Add question. So the question is now added. We can upvote it right there. So that's basically the use case. And obviously the most popular questions rise to the top. And I'm going to explain once we get to the code why our our upvotes as a user are persistent. So actually I'm going to go to questions HTML first. This is pretty straightforward. So we've got a series of questions coming in from JSON, and this is just an ng repeat over those questions that filters by text, orders by upvotes, and it does so in reverse, which is basically saying put the highest number of upvotes first, obviously.
Just like the high voice that just cracked there.
Excuse me. There's the text, and the upvotes being pulled in. Some glyphicons. What would you? It's kind of like the age-old discussion about GIF and GIF. Okay. Anyway, this is the modal for QR codes. I didn't really explain that, and it's kind of out of the scope of this discussion, but QR codes work. They're implemented. You can scan a QR code and go straight to a session, but it takes a little while to go through that, so we're going to jump straight to the questions code. Okay, so starting right here, we can see that we can add a question and push that to the Firebase database. There's the JSON properties right there. And then now this is kind of complex, and Drew would happily tell you that this is like one of the more complex things to code was persistent upvoting. But basically the way it works is, let's say that a user has a user questions array. Well, they do. Let's not say. So it starts out with a length of 0. Once they've upvoted a question, that array is pushed that information, and so now the upvote is persistent. Or if the question is new, it backs or takes one off that array, or takes one upvote off the question persistently and pushes that to the array. Or if it's not a new question and they're upvoting it, it pulls this logic right here, which just adds another persistent upvote to a separate question.
It's backwards. If it is a new question, it pushes it to the array and then it adds an upvote. If it's not a new question,
Got
it
it.
removes it.
Okay. I'm sorry about
If it's a new question to the user, it's pushed there.
Okay. Got it. All right. And that pretty much wraps it up for questions, and that also wraps it up to an extent for the back end side stuff. And we'll take you through the front end real quick. I'm going to go back to the app, log out, and this is our front page. All of our work for the front page is basically right here. We've got, well, not all of it, but the brand area and the brand image. The brand image is this guy. And then we've got our, where's my start button? Oh, right here. Okay. So main brand, that defines the font and all that good stuff for where it says Socrates. Slogan is the just ask portion. And then we've got a warning bootstrap button used for this and some custom styling to make that animated in that way. So we'll go ahead and press that. We log in anonymously. And then these are bootstrap panels, which have some separate styling and animation on them, just like that. And this is actually going to be the pin entry area, which is jacked up since we made some changes on how that all works. That is no longer styled correctly, but pretty easy fix. And let's go over to where that is. Nothing's down here.
Getting close on time.
Okay, getting close on time. Pin entry, join button for specific stuff. And oh, okay, I'm not going to talk about that because we're running out of time. And this is the giant header CSS. What?
How much time do we have?
How much time do we have?
3 minutes.
3 minutes.
okay.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to wrap it up. There's a lot of CSS for the header because Bootstrap headers are incredibly complex. And the way we probably should have shown you this is in the mobile view, which is where we designed it from. And that's for like an iPhone 6 Plus. It looks a lot better there. As you can see, things are not so out of sorts. But that's basically, we designed it with mobile in mind first, just like Yeoman would have you do. So the very last thing we're going to do is a quick walkthrough of how someone would use the app from the start. The person walks into the audience for a session. The speaker begins talking, and the user realizes they need to go to the session first. So the user hears a question that they want answered, or they have a question they want answered. So they'll go in here, they'll post that question just like we showed, and then if the audience members that are around them agree with that question and think it's pertinent, then they're going to upvote it. And at the end of that presentation, or in the middle of class, whatever it might be, that speaker or teacher will then take the time to answer the questions that the audience deem most important, not a corporate representative or the conference person conducting the conference, all those kind of questions. It's supposed to be a democratic solution for engaging the audience, and that's what Socrates really is. I think that's all we got. Let me go back to our regular screen. So I'm going to sign off.
You just stop sharing. Oh,
Yeah, I know. I wanted to stop sharing. Okay. Gosh.
Sorry.
Gosh.
So in closing, there's obviously a bunch more use cases here, but we just decided to show off 3 or 4 of the biggest ones.
I'd say 25,000 use cases.
25,000 use cases.
Approximately.
Okay.
All right. That's it.
Okay. See ya.